morning, dear students. We are going to discuss arches of foot today. Basic function of human foot is to support body weight, which serves as a lever to propel body forwards during locomotion. So basically our foot is designed in such a way like it is made up of so many bones with so many joints that it will allow the various movements and it allows the foot to rest on the ground and also transmit the body weight. Okay, so if it was formed by a single bone, it couldn't have adapted itself so well on uneven surfaces. Okay, but because our foot is made up of so many small bones and multiple joints, it helps in adapting on uneven surfaces. Long and small flexor muscles of foot assist in propulsive movement. The functions of arches are proportional distribution of body weight to the ground. They act as segmented level which helps in propulsive mechanism of soleus and gastrocnemius. The arches of foot protect underlying blood vessels and nerves in the sole from compression. The arches also act as springboard, helps in jolting and jumping from a height. So basically, suppose if our body weight is 120 pounds, you see right foot talus is taking 60 pounds, left foot talus is also taking 60 pounds. So right calcaneus is taking 30 pounds, head of the metatarsals they are taking 30 pounds. So 6 bearing points, that is 4 metatarsals plus 2 sesamoid bones under hallux, they are actually taking the body weight. So what are the various bones we have in the foot? We have calcaneus, talus, navicular, cuboid, 3 cuneiforms, medial, intermediate and lateral cuneiform, 5 metatarsals which are numbered from the great toe as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 metatarsals. So we have 4 arches basically. On the medial side we have medial longitudinal arch. On the lateral side of the foot we have lateral longitudinal arch. Apart from that we have transverse arches as well. Now see here, this is the foot viewed from lateral side, that is forming an arch. You can look into your own foot. It is not completely resting on the ground, but it is showing some like angulation, that is the lateral arch. Similarly, on the medial side of the foot also we have medial longitudinal arch. So let us discuss medial longitudinal arch. First, arches of foot is an essay question. It comes for 15 marks. So the medial longitudinal arch represents big arch of a small circle. Summit is the top point of any arch. The summit of arch lies at higher level. The bones which are taking part in the formation of medial longitudinal arch are, I have just colored them to make you understand better. So we have calcaneus, talus, navicular, medial, intermediate and lateral cuneiforms, first, second and third metatarsals. Okay, especially the heads of these metatarsals, including the sesamoid bones if found here. So arch is formed by more bones as you can see here and many joints. Hence the arch, the medial longitudinal arch is highly, more or less it is good flexibility it has, which is called as resiliency. It is resilient in character. Now coming to the medial longitudinal arch, summit I said is the topmost point of the roof is summit. The summit of the arch is actually formed by the trochlear upper surface of talus. The anterior pillar is formed by the heads of first, second and third metatarsal bones. Posterior pillar is formed by medial tubercle of calcaneus. The keystone of medial longitudinal arch is head of the talus bone. Similarly, we have lateral longitudinal arch which represents small arch of big circle. So summit is, that means height is comparatively less. The bones which are forming here are calcaneus, we have cuboid, 4th and 5th metatarsals up to their heads. Arch is formed by less number of bones and less joints, so it is comparatively rigid. It is not so flexible as you see with medial longitudinal arch. It commonly bears the body weight before the medial arch. Now the lateral longitudinal arch summit, that is the topmost point, is this point, that is the subtalar joint. Posterior pillar is the lateral tubercle of the calcaneus. Anterior pillar, we have fourth and fifth like metatarsal bones, the heads of fourth and fifth metatarsals. The most vulnerable point here is the calcaneocuboid joint. Apart from that, we have two transverse arches also. Assuming this as right foot and this as left foot. Okay, this is right leg and this is left leg. Here on the medial side, we have medial longitudinal arch. Lateral side, we have lateral arch. So suppose if you join the medial and lateral arches of right and left foot, you will get one half dome like this structure, that is actually transverse arch. Okay, transverse arch. So medial border of both feet are approximated attention position. Complete transverse arch is formed because lateral longitudinal arches lie lower than medial arch. Each foot represents half dome with concavity directed downwards and medially. It consists of series of arches which involves basis of the metatarsals, cuboid and three cuneiform bones. Since all metatarsal heads make contact with ground, they do not participate in the formation of the transverse arch. Now let us see what are the factors which maintain the arches of foot. If we just talk about some engineering devices to just compare, if you just like arch support of a stone bridge with that of a human foot, so shape of the bones we will discuss, intersegmental tires are staples, muscle tone, tie beam, suspension from above, everything we will elaborate. First thing is when you come to the shape of the bone, the shape of the bone is highly irregular, which is wedge shape with thin edge directed to the plantar surface. Talus, calcaneus, cuboid, navicular, tarsals, every bone is very much irregular. Okay, anteriorly we have navicular bone. So resting of the arch is on this bone. You call this area sustentaculum tali of calcaneus. The intersegmental tires, like this, we have intersegmental tie beams if you compare with a bridge stone. So intersegmental tires are of our foot are supported by plantar calcaneo-navicular ligament, which is also called as spring ligament between the like calcaneus bone, navicular bone. Okay, you are finding there is a ligament, that is the spring ligament. You call it as plantar calcaneo-navicular ligament. Itself is supported by slip of tibialis posterior, you can see, right? On permanent stretch culminates to flat foot formation. That means if this spring ligament is failing, all bones come and directly touch the ground, leading to flat foot. Hence, spring ligament plays a major role to maintain this arch up, not allowing the bones to touch the ground. Next, we have tie beams, so which are prevent separation of the pillars, anterior and posterior pillars, so which are formed by plantar aponeurosis like this. Okay, then we have muscles like abductor hallucis like this. Okay, medial part of flexor digitorum brevis, tendon of flexor hallucis longus, medial part of tendon of flexor digitorum longus, flexor hallucis brevis. All these things they form tie beams. Okay. So just to recollect, see, as soon as you reflect the skin of the sole, we see plantar aponeurosis. Below this, we see muscles of sole in 4 layers, no? So we have adductor hallucis, flexor digitorum brevis, isn't it? Flexor hallucis brevis, flexor digitorum accessoria. So many muscles are there. Suspending arch from above, we have tendon of tibialis anterior, superficial fibers of deltoid ligament. Deltoid ligament we have seen on the medial aspect of ankle joint. Now, maintenance of lateral longitudinal arch, again the shape of bones which are highly irregular, calcaneal angle of cuboid, triangular projection it makes, you can see, maintaining the upward tilt of long axis of calcaneus. Intersegmental tears we have supported by long and short plantar ligaments, tie beams, plantar aponeurosis, abductor digitae minimi, lateral part of flexor digitorum brevis, longest tendon, and flexor digitae minimi brevis. Okay. Then suspending arch, lateral arch from above, we have tendon of peroneus brevis and peroneus longus, which are lateral compartment muscles actually. Peroneus tertius comes from the anterior compartment. Okay, so they are suspending the arch from above. Okay, so peroneus longus suspension from above. Now we have maintenance of transverse arches, again the shape of bones which are highly irregular, wedge shape. Okay, intermediate cuneiform is the key bone for the maintenance of transverse arch. So the intersegmental tears we have are deep transverse ligament, other intrinsic ligaments in the sole, those are plantar ligaments. So we have dorsal interossei and adductor hallucis. Okay, so they form the intersegmental tears. The tie beams are tendon of peroneus longus, tibialis posterior, suspending the arch from above. We have peroneus tertius, peroneus brevis on the lateral side, tibialis anterior on the medial side. Okay. So that is all about four arches, the arches we have seen: medial longitudinal arch, lateral longitudinal arch, and transverse arches. Okay. Suppose if these arches, see this is the normal arch, we are seeing the feet from the medial aspect. Suppose if it is exaggerated, you call it as high arch. Suppose if it is missing, you call it as flat arch. So flat foot, which is also called as pes planus, it is the commonest condition. So disappearance of arches of foot is nothing but flat foot. It may be due to abnormal weight distribution on arches, loss of muscle tone in the leg due to prolonged standing. The predisposing factors may be faulty footwear, bad walking, long, slender, rapidly growing foot. Nerves may be compressed if the foot is flat, producing pain in the metatarsal region, radiating towards toes. That is metatarsalgia. You may be given this clue or hint to identify, like the question is discussing about arches of foot. Okay. So basically the normal footprint looks like this. This is the medial arch and this is the lateral arch. Suppose if the medial arch is gone, it looks very much flat like this, you call it as pes planus. Suppose if medial arch is highly exaggerated, you call it as highly arched foot, that is pes cavus. Pes cavus, it looks something like this. High arched claw foot, exaggeration of the medial longitudinal arch, medial arch. So plantar flexion of the transverse tarsal joints, anterior part of foot drops below the level of posterior part, toes are dorsiflexed at metatarsophalangeal joint, plantar flexion at interphalangeal joint. Okay, apart from that, we have many more deformities like talipus equinus, foot fixed in plantar flexion, toes are touching the ground and heel is raised. We generally see in polio cases. Talipus calcaneus, here you can see, foot is fixed in dorsiflexed position, heels on the ground and toes turned upwards. Talipus varus, you can see here, foot is fixed in inversion and adduction. Talipus valgus, in this condition, you are finding eversion and abduction of foot. March foot, commonly seen in soldiers, sometimes the neck of third metatarsal undergoes decalcification. Minor injury can lead to pathological fracture. So there is a condition called as hallux valgus. So great toe is deviated laterally at metatarsophalangeal joint. Wearing of narrow pointed shoe may be one of the reasons. Results in undue prominence of medial part of metatarsal head. bursa or B union forms in the subcutaneous tissue like this, overlying the prominent area. Okay. There is a condition called as hammer toe, affects second or third toe, so which is at the metatarsopharyngeal or and distal interpharyngeal joints are hyperextended. Proximal interpharyngeal joint is acutely flexed, that is hammer toe. Thank you.